All right. MMA legend Mark Hunt. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, bro?
Not much. I figure it's been a few years. I'd bother you again for another chat.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. It's been a minute, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 years, I think. So for anyone wondering, in my previous channel, I had a chat with Mark. We talked about the sad state of like fighter pay, stuff like that. Nothing has changed. I'll put a link down below to the previous chat from a few years ago. But yeah. So what's new?
Man, just same old thing, but just battling the man or the same old shit, bro. That's all day, every day.
Yeah, I saw recently you posted on social media, and you were really harsh with the MMAFA, Mixed Martial Arts Fighters Association, kind of like discussing like the deal they came up with the UFC. The what do you call it? It's late for me, so my legal terms are not going to be up to par. But the
The
deal,
antitrust
right?
lawsuit.
Yeah,
You're speaking about the antitrust lawsuit. Yeah, I don't actually think it's harsh at all. To be honest, I think what I said was actually true. Everything because what I spoke about was on what I know about the case. So when they started that case. Um, he said it was about Rob Macy said it was about even pay and trying to help fighters. Instead of giving them 14%, he wanted them to get more of the pie, so to speak. But when the figure came across the table, well, look, the judge said to them, it's a minimum of 800 million US dollars and a maximum of 1.6 billion. But that fucking idiot came back with the UFC lawyers and they said, well, we've made a deal, 330 million US dollars. Um, And they try to jump, do the runners with it. But the judge looked at it and goes, "Now, how does that work? How does the lawyers get $120 million from that?" So all it was just a money grab. To be honest,
I
all
don't.
it was just a money
Yeah,
grab, and nothing was changed.
I was very disappointed with the results, but that's it. On my side of things, I know that I've spoken to Rob Macy a few times. Another thing is not over. I want to talk to him again when it's all said and done. And I'm no lawyer. I have no idea. I read somewhere someone mentioned that something that might have come, and I don't know about this, but apparently something that might have compromised their stance is that the judge took too long to come back with them about something, and it changed. Look, I don't know. I might be completely off here. I think I read somewhere that like because the judge took too long to come to get back to them, there's something that wasn't on the table anymore, and I don't know if this is right or not. Again, I'll wait for it to be.
The
I know
thing
the judge
was,
refused the deal. Like I think they convinced the judge so well that it was unfair that the judge was like, "This is not enough," which is interesting.
how could they convince the judge when they both got on the same boat together? They
Well,
both got on the same boat. The antitrust lawyers and the UFC lawyers got on the same boat. They came back with a figure of 330 million. So how was that? It became them against the fighters. So I mean, I don't understand where they
yeah,
got that notion from. I mean, they didn't even listen to what the judges said.
I don't. Did we get news since then or not yet? Is the judge still debating it?
What's that? Sorry,
Is the judge still debating, or were there news that I missed?
the judge threw it out. He's not going to accept that. Why would he?
Yeah, yeah. It's a circus. I don't know what's going on. Again,
It's not. It's
I'm gonna
not a
reserve
circus.
judgment for when it's all done. But
The truth is, those guys just try to grab money and run. But the judge could see right through that.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe something happened behind the scenes where their position was compromised somehow. I don't know. I really don't know.
That what I do, like I said, what I do know is the judge
It's not a
said to
good
them,
deal. I agree with you. It's not a good deal, by the way. I'm not making excuses for that. That's a really bad deal. Yeah.
"Well, I mean, why would you accept a deal and make a deal with the UFC lawyers and come back at the judge and say we made a deal of $330 million and 120 million of it goes to the lawyers? Why would you say that? Come back with that when the judge said the minimum is 800 million."
If, as a quick sign off for anyone watching and thinking these are really big numbers, these numbers would be for like all of the fighters during that era. So we're not talking like a few people here. So if you're hearing that
It's
amount and saying
1,200
that's a big amount, it's
fighters.
yeah,
It's 1,200 fighters for 10 years.
yeah.
for the Lee lawsuit. Yeah, if that's the antitrust lawsuit you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah. So anyone thinking those are big numbers, keep in mind they spread out, and with the profit margins that the
Well,
UFC made, it's not acceptable. But
I think it worked out to be 30 cents on the dollar for the fighters. I think it was. So yeah, I think it was 30 cents in the dollar for the fighters. So I don't understand how they got the $120 million for the lawyers. That was a fucking joke.
I don't know. I don't know. I was very disappointed when I heard the results, and well, we'll see what happens, right? We'll see.
Well, I
But
mean, they're going to have to go to trial now for that. So, and I think the difference here, my lawsuit has set a precedent, so they won't be fucking trying to cheat those motherfuckers. So yeah.
so you were within that time range, right? You're one of the fighters who'd receive something if they.
Well, the thing was, I was part of the lawsuit, and I was with all those guys speaking about it. But in the end, I got upset because I'm in another lawsuit against a guy named Brock Lesnar,
Yeah.
and that guy was in the lawsuit also. So I'm like, how is this guy in the lawsuit against me in my lawsuit, my personal one, and he's sitting on the table on the antitrust lawsuit? So I ended up not trusting these guys, and I just left the chat. I was
Yeah.
very disappointed. In the end, he ended up being exactly what it was. The antitrust lawsuit ended up being just a money grab for these guys. So
Was
I'm
wait
actually glad they didn't win. I'm
was
glad they're
Brock?
gonna have to go to trial.
Yeah. Well, was Brock Lesnar part of the MMA for a while, or
No, he's part of the antitrust lawsuit.
he was? Oh, I didn't know that.
He is. Yeah, he is. And they say Robert says he's automatically part of it.
No, yeah, but that's the thing, because they can't pick and choose. Like on that side, like if you sue the fighters deserve this much, you can't pick and choose which fighters. Like it has to be all of them, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know these days what Rob Macy says, whether it's true or not these days.
No, no,
All the
I'm not
stuff that
saying
he's
he said that. I'm just saying by default that type of lawsuit you'd have to kind of like if you were to sue and say the fighters deserve this much collectively, like even the ones who are like saying, "Oh, the UFC is awesome," like "fuck the MMA," blah blah blah. Even they, I think, would receive something in the in a case like that. So, but anyway, yeah, it's messy. It's messy.
it's not messy. It's pretty clear cut from where I'm sitting, from what I
Oh,
can
I
see.
don't mean messy in the sense of confusing or complicated. It's very straightforward. But I mean it's messy as in it's a whole dirty thing. Like I meant messy as in it's not good. That's what I meant. But no,
But
it's
it's
very
not good
straightforward.
because
Fighters are not being paid enough. That's very straightforward.
it's not good because the guys that started this ended up being just in it for the money for themselves. And the thing is, they
Yeah.
don't contact all the fighters. Ain't none of them from Angion contact every fighter. They only use the seventh that started it. They use the seven fighters that started it, and they talk to them, and that's it. That's all they need. They don't need to speak to anyone else. Angion didn't contact no one about this.
Yeah.
So it just makes me laugh about it, how they're trying to say they contact all the fighters. No, you're lying, Rob Macy. You're lying like you've been lying for years. Just like you're going to make change for this lawsuit, this change about, and then you come back with this money grabbing tactic of yours. I'm glad they're going to trial. I'm glad they have to go up there, front up, and speak up for why the fighters should get 30 cents in the dollar, and the lawyers should get $120 million. What the fuck have they done? Filing
Yeah.
faxes for 10 years? What? Does the fax cost $10,000 of every fax they do?
Hmm.
Criminals is what I say.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna get interesting. It's gonna get interesting. Let's see what happens there. Um. But yeah, no, yeah. When I heard and even like someone like Luke Thomas, right, who's like this like in MMA media, he's like this big proponent for fighter pay and all that. When the deal was kind of like mentioned, it seemed like he kind of like he kind of lost any will to talk about it anymore. Well, that's not exactly true, but you could tell that he was like, look, at this point, like if that didn't work out, like what's gonna work, right? And it was very discouraging. But let's see what happens. Maybe something else happens with the judge refusing it, and but
Well, I mean, the fighters don't really care at the moment because what's happening is the money that they should have been getting is going to these stupid lawyers.
yeah,
All they did this lawsuit is to line their own pockets, not the fighters. What have they done for the fighters? I mean, shucks. I think 4,000 of them got getting $5,000 for 10 years' work. Are you kidding me? What is this?
So that's how much they receive. Ugh.
I mean, 400. I don't know. It breaks down to be really stupid numbers, and it isn't fair. It's only fair for them, the lawyers and the guys that started this lawsuit. So
Yeah.
nothing has changed, and it was like, to me, it was just a money grab. And I'm glad that the judge saw through that.
What?
I
Yeah.
actually feel that he saw, because he seen my lawsuit and he saw all the criminal shit they did. He says, you know what, these guys are lying. He
Hmm.
saw the RICO contraventions looking at him, and he didn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not well informed enough to like make statements right now on my side of things, but I know that I'm not.
Well, I am, so
The
that's
deal
why I'm
was
speaking
not. Yeah,
about
I
it.
know, but the deal was not good. That's something that's clear cut to me. Like that was not a
Yeah,
good.
but then you got to ask yourself, who accepted the deal? It certainly wasn't the fighters. Well, who was it?
Or
It
maybe.
was
Yeah.
it was the MMA FA, Rob
Yeah.
Macy, and his bunch of clown lawyers. That's who it was. Because there
Hmm.
wasn't any fighters that accepted it, and it was only the 7 fighters that would have accepted it. The other fighters, the other, I don't know, what 1,100 left,
Yeah.
said they wouldn't have got no word about it. So they've got no say in this lawsuit, and I'm glad that the judge knocked it back. I'm glad he's seen my lawsuit and said, I don't want to be part of this RICO. So
Yeah.
why should I allow this?
It's discouraging as a fan of MMA because it kind of, and that's kind of why I stopped doing the MMA show and I'm just doing my talk show in part because I was like, this is not. I find that being a fan of MMA is if you have any conscience at all and if you have any empathy for other human beings, even if it's fighters who might be like, oh, you're being a wuss, like whatever, like us fighters don't care. Even those who would talk to me like that, even then, like I'm very aware that I'm watching people get damaged, right? That's what I'm watching. So, of course, I'm in there for the love of the technique and the excitement and all that. But at the end of the day, I'm watching people like damage each other, and that's my fun, and that's part of my fun as a fan. So, how do I reconcile that with knowing that? Well, the only reconciliation I could have is thinking, well, they're making an informed decision based on fair compensation. If there's no fair compensation, so I'm kind of like in this weird
No.
place where
So
I'm,
the,
I'm,
so the
I'm
thing about
really
that is,
feeling like I'm almost like want to step away from the sport as a fan. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
almost
but when you speak about fair compensation, no, that's wrong, because
yeah.
end of the day, the compensation that they're giving is a compensation marked on monopsony. That's why this antitrust lawsuit was about.
Well, you
Because
see,
those guys have
it's both a monopoly and a monopsony. They're both.
so those guys have dictated the market, and they say, here's your fair compensation, which is not fair.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's actually, it's not a fair compensation at all for fighters. That's why they did this antitrust lawsuit. But the thing about it is, when they actually came to the table and negotiated where the money was, what happened? Money
yeah.
talked. Money talked, and these fucking bullshit artists walked. Well, they tried to walk, but they couldn't.
I don't know if it was a thing where they realized they couldn't. Like where I'm holding back a bit on being too harsh, and I might be
Don't
wrong
hold
here.
back. Don't hold back. You're talking about history here. You're talking
Yeah,
about, history. You're talking about a sport that's only just young, and you're talking about laying the platform of the sport. And if it stays this way, guess what's going to happen?
I feel like it will for a long time because I don't.
I don't think so.
You think it's gonna change soon?
Oh, well, that's why these people are in these lawsuits. Because if they don't change their business practices, they'll be going where they should be going. Like I told you, like I told this other guy before. Because that's where Dana White is going. That's where Dana White, Jeff Nowitzki, these guys are going to jail because of their
I don't think
so-called,
so. I mean, I
their
don't
so-called
think.
business practices. You know what I mean? They talk about
Yeah.
people talk about Dana White being a good businessman. He's a criminal. That's all he is.
Well, the thing is that yeah, he's not the genius that people make him out to be. He's not like he's a man who is very good at seizing opportunity and being morally bankrupt. Like he doesn't have any scruples. Is that the word in
Yeah,
English?
he has no integrity.
Yeah, exactly.
His business practices are all criminal business practices. That's why he's got a lawsuit, a RICO lawsuit that's going to put him in jail.
Wait, there's a RICO. Is that part of
Oh
what's a
yeah,
RICO?
okay. So my lawsuit is different. My lawsuit is
Yeah.
separate. My lawsuit is a approved civil RICO lawsuit. You know what a RICO lawsuit is? It's an approved civil lawsuit.
Hmm. I mean, RICO. Look, I've heard the term in like mob movies and stuff like that, but it's kind of like
It'll
understanding
be
is,
hard to kind of explain to it in a segment
but
of
it's
20,
like
30
when a group
minutes.
of people do a conspiracy, right? Is that kind
No,
of
okay, well, end of the day, maybe Google Rico,
yeah,
civil
yeah.
Rico. So,
Everyone
yeah,
Google Rico. But yeah. Anyway, like it's a whole mess. But I honestly,
it's not a myth. It's just them being caught.
yeah,
It's just what it is the landscape
yeah,
changing because these guys are criminals. And that's
yeah. And
why
again,
guys like me put on lawsuits against criminals like this because they think they can get away with it because they're what you call they're arrogant. They're arrogant people.
yeah, yeah. And now I want to be clear. I don't care who people vote for. Okay, that's I'm not into that business of oh, this is who people should vote. Look, the democracy. The whole point is everyone votes for who they think would be good. But something that baffles me is that a lot of fighters are pro-Trump, which again, I'm not like getting to politics. However, as MMA fighters individually, I don't understand that they're fans of him because Trump was actually, as a buddy of Dana White, was integral in stopping the Ali Expansion Act, right? And so that's one part I'm like I'm kind of baffled. I'm like, well, is it because he's friends with the boss and they want to be in good terms with them, and I guess that's it, or maybe they just don't know about the Ali Expansion Act and how Trump was instrumental in stopping it. I don't know, but that's another part that baffles me about MMA fighters lately. They're super pro Trump, and look, if you're right wing and all that, that's fine. That's what democracy is for. We all vote for who we think would be good. But it baffles me that in a way, like this politician who really screwed MMA fighters, and they're all like cheering for him, and it's really like this bizarre world for
Yeah,
me.
because they don't understand what's happening. These guys that are fighters are in slavery contracts. They don't even know. Look, the funny thing is they can go and fight for a living and fight and go and kill each other, but they can't even fight for their own rights. They don't even understand what's happening to them right now. They don't even understand about it. They just sit there, oh, go Dana, go Trump. That's part of our business. You're getting screwed, you fucking idiot. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You're in a
yeah.
slave contract and you're getting pumped and you're trying to barrack for a guy that's ripping you, cutting you by your own throat. These guys,
And
they
and
just
again,
don't understand.
I'm not even
And
talking
you know what
politics.
makes me?
Yeah,
Let me finish here. What
yeah.
makes me funny? What makes me laugh here is you got these idiots like Charles Sonnen all talking about my lawsuit like it's got no standards, got no base at all. None, he has no fucking clue
Who
about
said that? Chael Sonnen?
to get an approved civil RICO case. It's
Dude,
fucking crazy. So
dude.
the thing about my lawsuit is not only going to change combat sport, but it changes all contact sport. And it makes me laugh when these guys with zero clue about the case speak on it for like they make a show on it and speak about my case for 40 minutes, saying, "Oh, you've got no fucking case. You've got billions of dollars." Steroids being part of a sport fucking for the entire time.
Yeah,
Just because it's been a part of sport, does that mean it should continue? No, not at all. Just because that fuck was ripping you off for years, that Dana White is screwing you fighters, should it continue? And only the idiots that say, yes, we vote for Donald Trump, those are the idiots that don't know that say, yes, let him keep ripping us off in our families. Yeah, good
yeah.
one.
And again, this is not about politics. I just mean individually, like man to man. If a politician had done something that affected me and my income very directly, I would have issues with him, right? It's not even about politics anymore. It's kind of like personally speaking. I don't understand that they like him. Chael Sonnen actually look. And I didn't invite him to come to the show. He never replied at the end, but he actually and I'm not gonna share what we discussed because it was in a private conversation. So that my code personally is that if it was in the context of a talk show, I keep it private. But he actually argued with me at some point. We have like voice messages back and forth. I think it was during
What was
the
it?
Ngannou.
What was he
I don't know if you
arguing
see
about?
it. Anyway,
No, I can't see it, but what was he arguing about?
whatever. He actually read like I did tag him on a post. I think it was during the Ngannou thing, and he argued with me for a while, which was kind of amusing, right? But and I did invite him, then he never replied. But I think the part when he stopped, I will say this much: the part when he kind of stopped replying is when I did tell him why I kind of cared about this sort of stuff, and I was like, look, I'm watching people get CTE. For me, like I do feel guilty if they don't get proper compensation. Like that, as a fan, at some point you see like it's kind of like the guy's on the floor is not moving anymore, and you've done your own walkout KOs. You KO'd a lot of people and walked away, and they don't move for a while. And when I watch that, part of me does feel guilty about it, and there's no reconciliation if they're not getting paid properly. You know what I mean? Like that. This is where I kind of, as a fan, I'm starting to feel that distance growing between me and the sport, where I can't really enjoy it anymore. You know,
Well, I
like
mean, okay, so you're on that fan's perspective where you know only very little. But so look at it from my perspective as a pro fighter that
yeah,
used to be in those ranks,
yeah, yeah,
that knows and understands how it works,
yeah,
that how it runs. That's why I've got an active lawsuit against these guys. Because why? Because I understand what's going on.
yeah,
Why? Because I got fucking the balls to go and do something about it. Unlike
yeah.
some other people. And I can't really sit here and say these fighters should do this and do that. But you know, you got these fucking clowns like Charles Sonnen
Uh,
going back in an hour podcast talking about my lawsuit,
uh, well,
and he has
Chael
no
is in
clue
the
about it.
business of being friendly with the MMA organizations that exist, right? So of course he's not gonna. Who knows what he really thinks? You know what I mean? Like
Who
a lot
cares?
of people, they
Who
say
really
what they have
cares
to say on
anymore?
the
I mean,
camera.
as soon as I heard him speak about me and my lawsuit, I said, you know what, you're a fucking clown, and I tagged him in my post about my actual lawsuit. And the thing is, he's got his bases on zero. He's got no, you know, my case is evidence. He's got fucking no clue at all. None of these idiots. They're just done.
No, you don't know.
They're
He doesn't
dumb.
need to. He's good at talking around and saying, like, he can talk for 10 minutes and just say the same thing he said at the beginning and make it a 10-minute video. And listen, he's a very charismatic guy, so he can kind of like spin it for a while. But
It's
very
like,
often his
you
videos
know,
have very little
he's
substance.
not
That's the
charismatic
reality.
at all. I mean, he's
No,
not
I
charismatic at
think
all.
he is, but you
He's
have
like Dana White. Talking about people talking about he's a businessman. He's a great businessman, Mark. You gotta. He's a fucking clown. He's a fucking
no. But
criminal.
when I say
You
charismatic,
know,
when I say charismatic, I don't mean he makes sense. I just mean that he's good at like playing it for the camera. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
he's good at bullshitting.
Yeah, it's kind of a backhanded compliment, I guess, in that sense that I'm saying, because what I mean is he can talk for 10 minutes, but in the end, he didn't say much, you know?
Yep.
That's kind of what I mean. It's like he makes it
Okay.
look good, but
Yeah.
then there's
Fair
no
enough.
substance. It's
Yep.
like a burger. There's no nutrition
Pretty
there.
much. Pretty much like that whole 40-minute segment he did on them on my lawsuit. Zero substance.
40 minutes? Jeez.
I mean, why would you make a segment on my lawsuit for 40 minutes when you've got zero substance behind it? You know, whereas in Australia here, New Zealand, we back our things with evidence. We don't just make up stories. We have evidence to back it. Unlike some of these people.
Yeah, I'm guessing in Australia, this is maybe an idea I have, but I feel like the business practices are probably less. How can I put this? They seem more moral a bit. The laws seem to be more fair. I don't know if that's true or not, but from what little I glanced, it seems like in Australia, they do have like better laws for like what business can and
It's
can't do.
I mean, there's a lot better practices, business practice, law practice. You know, common courtesy, I think, is what it is. You know, they just, you know, I mean,
Oh,
fucking
okay, okay,
showing respect for your fucking fellow person.
yeah. Maybe it's just an honor code, and I know that, for example, shipbrokers, they still work with the handshake deal, even no matter how big the amounts are. You know, people who deal like with which ships are going to transport what.
Yeah.
Shipbrokers to this day still like handshake deal, and
That's
when you
good.
the handshake deal,
I used to think that was a good thing too, but I'm glad they
oh
still
no,
do it.
not in
You know,
sports. No, 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 not in
yeah. I
sports.
mean, and I used to be a man of handshakes, but you know, your word is your word and your word is your bond. But
Ugh.
doesn't work these days, man. It's your word means shit unless you got a contract.
I'm gonna be brutally honest here. The thing about fighters very often is they're very old school. They're very like manly man, old school dude. My word is my bond and my code of honor. But I think a lot of fighters understand too late that not everyone operates that way, right?
No, you
Yeah,
have to change that. That doesn't work anymore these days.
yeah.
And I realize that, especially when you have to take people to court.
I'm French Canadian, right? Well, I'm half Spanish, half French Canadian, and back in the day, the Canadians, you know, the hockey team, the Maurice Richard, a legendary hockey player, the Rocket, you know, he would, if I remember correctly, he would just like give the guy like just, he would go like, look, this is my signature, just fill out the contract. That was the level of
Trust.
yeah, but that's, you know, I would not recommend that these days. Even then I would have to check, like, was he being fairly compensated back then? Who knows? I don't even know that, you know. But that's, if any fighter listens, because, you know, you're here, so you might have fighters listening to this episode. The world overall, the modern world does not operate on the warrior code or the code of honor or anything like that. It's just like get your shit signed, get it on paper, make sure you have legal advice. That would be my outsider perspective on it, which
Yeah,
I'm sure you agree.
yeah, of course. I mean, why not? I mean,
Yeah,
everyone has a right to their own perspective, and that's it. You
yeah,
you have a perspective on your opinion and experience. To be honest, so yeah,
yeah,
why not?
yeah. Because I mean, it's just a thing, right? Like I've seen in other contexts, I've seen people who are very honorable kind of think that the rest of the world is, like um,
No.
no, no, like my own father, he's Spanish and he left Spain for, I think it was in the 70s or 80s. He left Spain for many years. Then he came back at some point to visit the family, right? And
Yeah.
he's in a bar, and this guy is being surrounded by other dudes. And he doesn't know the story, but he was like this old school Spaniard. So he steps in because he's outnumbered, just because of that, right? And the guys kind back away and leave. They waited for my dad outside, and as a group, they beat him up, crack his ribs, everything. And then he told my mom later on, he said, Spain changed. Because it's kind of like he thought that you don't go 4-on-1 on a dude, you don't outnumber a dude, right? But he didn't realize that it wasn't just the heat of the moment. They were the kind of people who would surround someone many against one. And that's when
Yeah.
he kind of realized, like, oh, things have changed. So
Yeah,
not
man.
everyone
Just like
operates
with
like that.
everything, time change, man. Times change, evolution changes. You cannot stay the same. The next day, everything changes. It's just the way evolution is.
Yeah. I think social media has made things worse. Like when Dana White is like talking shit about his own fighters as soon as the contract is almost over. And social media is kind of like this culture of trash talking and who's gonna say the funniest thing, and you know what I mean. Like, so I think it's kind of like a lot of people admire that in him. They don't realize how vapid it is, how empty it is.
It's pretty much empty, like his fucking business style, his business ideas and business everything. It's empty.
Yeah, slap
But
fighting, man. What the
it has
fuck?
zero substance to it. That guy's got zero substance to be anything. To be
The dude
honest.
looks straight at the camera and tells people that slap fighting is the shit.
That's because he doesn't have to pick up the pieces after. All he's doing is trying to make some stupid fucking CT sport that people get fucking injured and fucked up and guaranteed. And then when it's time to sell, he's going to make his money and leave everyone else picking up, looking after these fucking people, just like he's trying to do with his UFC gig. Same thing now. So you know, he's just a criminal, straight out, man, just a straight out fucking bot criminal.
Yeah, yeah. The way he talks about slap fighting makes me think like, was he ever really passionate about MMA, or he just saw a sport he could control? Because he used to be a boxing guy, and
He's just trying to find a way in anyway. And then when he found his way in, he continued his lies and all his criminal business ways, even to this day. So I mean, you notice like in history, every fighter that goes against the company, he turns his PR machine on them all, and they all talk bad about him. They give him a bad narrative, just like they did to me. The
Mhm.
narrative, oh, he's got CT, he's talking rubbish. They paid my lawyers of it, mate. These guys are just straight criminals, bro. That's the bottom line with these guys. They got zero substance and absolutely zero integrity.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Well, look,
it's
man, I'm you hear me saying this on not just here but every other podcast and every other thing I do. And have they done anything about it? Have they tried to sue me about it? No. Do you know why that is? It's because they can't.
yeah. They wouldn't be able to claim that you're what is it when you're harming someone's reputation. What do you call that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't claim that because you're just saying what's happening. So it's yeah,
No, they can't sue me or put a gag order on me. It's called defamation. And the thing is,
defamation.
they
Thank you.
can't they can't do anything to me because what I'm speaking is the truth.
Mhm.
Everything I've said is an absolute the truth, and you won't ever hear a reporter speaking to them about me and my lawsuit because and the problem is, there's no problem. I mean, the thing is, it'll change. Everything will change for them very soon, and we're just waiting for the orders. So despite you not knowing what my lawsuit was, you know, the
Well, no,
answer
I
is
knew you
yes.
had one. I knew you had one. Just at some point, like it's not like I'm in it in the whole apparatus. So at some point, I kind of start for me, it kind of starts jumbling in my head. Like which is what, and like.
Well, the thing is, the antitrust lawsuit, they are criminals. They're just MMA FA is just as trash as the UFC lawyers, because when the money came across, and this is about trying to bring the Ali Act into MMA,
Mm.
but they they all they did was just try to do a money grab. My lawsuit is about steroids in the sport of MMA.
Yeah.
And the difference with my lawsuit is, um, the Las Vegas Commission knew, USADA knew, Dana White knew, Jeff Daviscu, they all knew that he was on steroids.
Brock Lesnar, yeah.
Brock Lesnar, and the hard thing about it, harsh reality of it, it's all evidenced.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar is like no, not for nothing that he never came back after the drug tests like started
He,
getting
he'll,
worse and all
he'll
that.
never fight again in the, because I knew, because of my lawsuit. He's
Yeah,
never going to fight again in wrestling or UFC, MMA. So, you know, catch you up later.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things, right? Yeah. By the way, at some point, your username on social media was Super Samoan. Was that like a take on Super Saiyan? Are you a fan of Dragon Ball, or was it something else?
Yeah, that's where I got my name from when I did 10 years in Japan.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, when I used to fight, my hair used to go white. So yeah, painted my hair white. So yeah.
Well, was
But
that what they called you, or did you choose that based on Dragon Ball, or?
yeah, that's what I was. It was they used to call me the Salmon Monster in Japan. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if even Japan would be more PC now with these things, or if it would be the same in Japan. I don't think they care. It's just,
I don't know, man.
uh,
I don't know these days. Yeah.
have you followed up with trying to be lighter? Maybe make you talk about other stuff you don't always talk in interviews. But have you followed up on the new Dragon Ball cartoons or stuff like that?
I did watch. Um, I did watch the Saitama and the Dragon Ball Goku Rumble. So that was pretty cool. You
Okay,
know. Yeah.
that's in Super, right? I haven't caught up with Super completely. I've seen bits
No,
and
no,
pieces.
it's just it was just I just because another character is Saitama, who I like. He's called the One Punch Man, so I watched him
Oh,
battle with
Saitama, One
Goku.
Punch Man. Yes. The bald dude with the yeah. I saw the two
Yeah,
seasons.
yeah,
That one's fun.
yeah. So if you go on YouTube, there's the battle with him and Goku, and they become friends, and they start rumbling everyone. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is that from a video game or something?
No, YouTube. If you Google on YouTube,
Oh, okay.
Saitama versus Goku, and then they go, because he goes, Sait, Super Saiyan God versus Saitama. It's crazy. Yeah.
So is it like fan made? What is it? It's or
Yeah, it's pretty good cartoon. It's like a 2 hour manga, and I just watched it. You should watch
two
it. It's
hour?
pretty cool.
Yeah.
2.5 hour, I think, but it's really cool. I found it really cool.
I recently saw the latest movie they did, which will now be, I guess, the last one that Toriyama, because now Akira Toriyama passed away a few months ago, which is really sad. The creator of Dragon Ball. Um, that was kind of funny because I think it's kind of like one of those creators. The guy was like this. I saw a post and it was really funny. It was like how this um, Japanese nerd, that this nerd in Japan drawing pictures made more people start to work out and fight than any like influencer or like just with Dragon Ball inspired so many people to work out and stuff like that. It was kind of like a funny but very true comment.
Yeah,
This dude
correct.
drawing
Yeah.
pictures and then
An
he
artist. Yeah,
inspired.
an artist. So yeah.
Yeah, that was sad that he passed away. He was very young. I don't remember his age, but he was really young.
Okay.
Like in his 60s, maybe. I want to say.
Don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way before his time. That's real. He was still working on stuff. He was still doing stuff. And
Wow.
yeah, so I saw the last movie they made with it was Gohan and Piccolo fighting some like Red Ribbon new characters and all that. It was fun. Um, they're always creating new forms now, so they can keep selling the action figures. Like. But
Business. That's what it
yeah,
is. Business.
that's fine. That's yeah. But and what else are you doing lately? Other than lawsuit, even if it's
I'm
just
just
fun
I'm
stuff you're
just
doing.
chilling out. I'm just gaming. I've been just chilling out. That's it. Pretty much just living life, and yeah, just waiting for history to be made. That's all. Change everything.
Okay. Well, what are you again? I'm trying to get you maybe to talk about stuff you don't always talk about, but what are you gaming lately? What are you
I
playing?
talk about fucking. I've been pretty much talk for the last nearly a decade. I've been talking about this lawsuit, and
I
I'll
know.
continue to talk about this lawsuit until the changes are made. So, but I
I know.
play a lot of chess. I've been playing. I've been gaming a lot, so that's all. I
Yeah.
play chess. I play Counter Strike with the boys. Some zombies, So yeah, I play a lot of different games.
Okay. These are zombies. You mean like first person shooters or?
Oh no, this was just it's on Steam. It's just Plant v Zombies. You
Oh
can get it
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard
Yeah,
about it. Yeah.
yeah. So I just play. Where is it here? Plant v
The
Zombies.
Steam. Careful! Don't show your username on Steam. There, you're gonna find yourself with a lot of people adding you.
It doesn't matter. I get people letting me in. The only thing they get from me is my alter ego, and you don't want to fuck around with my alter ego.
I'll send you my. I'll send you. Well, if you want to add me, I'll send you my Steam link username later.
Yeah. No, I don't want to add you. That's all good.
Okay. Okay.
That's okay.
No,
That's
hey, it's fair, man. It's fair.
okay.
Listen, if you want to keep your circle tight, I'm not offended at all. It's perfectly.
No, I don't care. I just like I said, when I go into the metaverse, but I'm just gaming hard, and my alter ego is the worst person to come across if you're on the wrong side of them. So yeah,
Okay. Okay. I'll
yeah.
take your word for it. I don't know. I'll take your word for it. And yeah, I don't know, dude. Have you ever considered like show? Have you shown up in any movies yet, or is that something you want to do?
No, like I said, when I finished fighting, I said to myself, I don't want to be a part of, the limelight or whatever it is. I just want to chill out with my family and live my life quietly and peacefully. But like I said, the battle continues with this,
Yeah.
and it's about to end soon. And, any day it could end, and history will be made, and things will change. And
Okay.
and and that's like I said, I still not interested in I'm only like I do a lot of podcasts and things because
Yeah.
the mainstream media don't want to speak about this RICO lawsuit because
Yeah.
they don't like change. People don't like change for the better. To be
Yeah.
honest, I don't know. They think it's like even if you showed them the stuff I've showed them, they think I'm crazy still. But that's the
Well,
narrative that the UFC have put on me, which is wrong,
yeah.
which is wrong.
The problem is that people when they don't have an incentive, people will often look the other way if they don't have an incentive to look. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to know.
Well, I mean,
There's no true MMA media. Like there's no. I mean, there's MMA media. Sorry, there's no MMA journalism really.
well, there is actually good MMA journalists. They just they don't want to speak about what's actually the reality of where the sport is heading with these people that are in the front, like the UFC, where they're going with it. And the thing about this, when I speak about Dana White going to jail, people don't want to hear that, but he's going to jail, definitely going to jail.
Yeah.
Lesnar is really going to jail for not only trafficking, but for stuff in my lawsuit.
Yeah.
All these guys that were part of this RICO contravention are going to jail.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, I don't
seeing
know that
every
they are,
single
but
one of them.
understand your.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying, yeah. I mean, I understand. Like, it's not okay what they're doing. I don't know if they're gonna pay for it or not, but time will tell. But
Well, they're gonna pay for it for sure. I'm telling you,
listen,
they're gonna pay for it. So
I,
yeah,
I I wish you all the best in that pursuit. Really, it's
I don't need any luck or anything. Like I said, it's in law court waiting right now.
okay. Well, Mark, listen. Seriously, thank you very much for your time. Like, Godspeed. Like, I wish you luck with everything you're doing.
Okay.
I hope that if you're spending time with the family, making the most of that. I hope that you keep doing that, and you and yours for you all to be happy. And dude, any win that you can get on the legal side, I'll be cheering for.
Thank you, Brennan.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah. Anything else that you wanted to add that we haven't touched upon, or anything you wanted to say before we?
No, it's fine. That's fine. So thanks for the time and having me on. So I'm pretty sure like when things change, you'll see it globally in the news anyway. So I
I hope
appreciate your
so.
time. And
I
like
hope
I
so
said,
because it's getting really discouraging. It's been
well,
4 years.
I don't have to hope. I'm speaking. I'm telling you now. You're hearing it here first. That when history comes, you've been told already about it.
Perfect. Can I have you back when there's developments and all that? Can I have you back on?
Of course. I can come back anytime you feel.
Awesome. Thank
Thanks
you.
for the time, brother. All right. Take it easy,
Thank you.
Brennan.